Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as we are beginning a brand new month of March, I thought I would give you guys some updated decks to climb with in Hearthstone. It's been a while since we've done it. The meta hasn't changed a ton, but hey, a couple of these decks are slightly different. We got Snow Flipper Penguin in one. We got the new Ysera in another, so there is some variety there to help you climb, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend. Reminder, we do have that giveaway going on for 2 regular pre-orders and 2 mega bundles for Into the Emerald Dream. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in the video link down description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed, I'll add another mega bundle. And I will say before we get into the decks, do not recommend crafting anything right now. We have a new expansion coming out in a few weeks. A lot of these cards are gonna be rotating. There's already words of like mass nerfs. I would just make what you can with these lists, what you can, and try and wait until then. So starting off, yeah, Terran Shaman, likely the best deck in the entire game right now. And yeah, some lists are running like a greedy partner, but overall, you just want to play your liftoff, get your starports going, get your starship pieces going, and just kind of nuke your opponent. You could do it again with Jim Raynor, and this is a very token-based version. We have like Turbulus can buff up, especially Backstage Bouncer is quite disgusting, good with like Growfin and all that, but I'm sure you've seen the deck plenty. You might have played the deck plenty, who knows, but it is still doing quite well. Handbuff Hunter. Apparently people are running Snow Flipper Penguin because, yeah, 0 mana, get a bunch of stats. Apparently can be quite nice. Of course, you can buff up the crap out of your Zerglings and just put out an insane amount of like stats. That's what you're trying to do. Or you can buff up a Huffer from your animal companions with all your different buff cards, whether it's reserve spot, you got your cup of muscle, and yeah, go from there. Ranger Gilly can buff stuff more, and you think this deck would be terrible looking at it on paper, but it is performing as one of the best decks out there, so one you might want to give a go. Aggro Protoss Priest ranks as one of the better decks at like Diamond Legend, at Legend. You know, play the early game. Orbital Halo is a really broken card. You could slap that out on a 1-drop really early, you can win the game, but you can also save an Orbital Halo, get your Zealot with Charge, slap it on there, and then copy it with Hallucination and push a bunch of damage. And if that doesn't work out, you actually do have the late game of Mothership in here, Artanis, Amanthul, and yeah, this deck, again, performing pretty well. You can play the Protoss cards, but more in an aggressive fashion, unfortunately. Like, Control Priest just hasn't really been valid for a while, which, if I like Priest, it would make me sad. But I don't like Priest, so it doesn't make me sad. Next, we have, I'm sure your favorite deck out there, or plenty of people's favorites, the Infestor Zerg DK, where it's all about, yeah, get Infestor, play Yodeler on it, play Death Growl on it, couple it up with the Viper, and just have infinite stats and overwhelm your opponent. And you've got, of course, Reska, Kerrigan. A lot of this stuff is rotating, as I mentioned, like Reska will be, Yodeler's rotating, Growl, and they're already saying, again, they're going to nerf like Zerg and Terran in particular. So again, if you don't have the cards for these decks, don't go crazy crafting it, but this is one of the more effective decks. It's a fast deck and can really punish those slower decks. They just cannot deal with the infinite amount of stats. Weapon Rogue still doing really well, still incredibly brain dead. Play a weapon, buff the crap out of it, silence, try and remove with stick up, you know, any taunts or minions in the way. Kill your opponent, and that's pretty much it. Again, mic drop and like hip hop are leaving, so all the good weapon buffs will not be remaining, but we don't know the rogue cards yet. Maybe there'll be more weapon buffs. We'll have to wait and see, although the one card we saw is a giant Burgle card, so maybe we're getting Burgle stuff. Who knows? But yes, Weapon Rogue still quite good. For Hunter, Discover Zerg DK seems to be the way to go. I think Vicious Syndicate says it's like the best deck in the game. ETC, by the way, has Glacial Shard, Mind Control Tech, and a Ceaseless Expanse, and if you Regari Scout this, you can get 2 of one of those cards, right? So that's always something to be aware of. And yeah, you can get Seaside Giants out really quickly with Spawning Pool and Parrot Sanctuary. Just get those locations going, cheat out those giants. Of course, you have Alien Encounters to help protect yourself, and you really want to find Niall so you can just draw your deck and do really good stuff. And yeah, you can set up like Ceaseless to like clear the board, go wide with your Zerglings, and then just like kill your opponent with Hydralisk. That can be a strategy to win the game. And yeah, very effective deck in this one. Not losing a lot of cards, so it'll be really interesting to see yeah, probably getting nerfed pretty heavy because this deck is really, really darn good. Location Warlock, a bit more on the lower end. Probably what I'm going to try and take and climb to Legend. I still got to finish my Consume achievement. I only have Consume and Hydralisk achievements left from that mini set. And yeah, you get to play a lot of big things. Ceaseless, Seaside Giant, Sargeras, Zilliax in this version as Haywire module. Perfect module. Some people don't run Zill. But yeah, this list is performing pretty well. And play a lot of locations. Get those giants out. Copy it with Forge of Wills. You can win the late game with Symphony of Sins, Sargeras, steal something with Bob and be toxic. All that good stuff. And yeah, probably my favorite deck in the current meta. Next, we have Archon Rogue, which is, again, performing pretty well. Basically plays like a bit of a tempo deck in the early game, a little bit, I guess, with like your Void Rays, your Chrono Boost. You have the quick pick into Sword Shiner, really effective combo in the deck. And then late game, yeah, you want to play your Templars and basically couple them up, and you can copy them with your Sonya, your Scoundrels. You got Cover Artist, and you can like OTK with this deck in the late game. And not the best deck out there, but not the worst. So if you want to give it a go, it is certainly valid. And Odin Warrior seems to be making a comeback because of the new card, Ysera Emerald Aspect. It is not in the thumbnail, purely for clickbait. There is a deck using this card, letting you ramp up a little bit more, getting more mana, which can be awfully nice. And we're not even running Hammond here. We don't even have ramp. It's just to get more mana. So when we have that Odin online, we can just gain a ton of armor through like shield blocks, goggles, concussive shells, or starship pieces, or Arcanite defense crystals, or Ignises, all that crazy stuff. And this does seem to be the best performing warrior deck. Again, nowhere near top tiers, like tier 3, tier 4, but if you're looking for a slower warrior deck and you want to say goodbye to Odin in the next few weeks, this could be a great way to do it. Lastly, we have Hero Power Druid, which is still doing pretty well. It's definitely fallen off a lot since its initial kind of surge into the meta, but still, Groovy Cat getting that hero power buffed up, and it does work with Artanis, and you have that tutor effect with like Construct Pylons, and Chrono Boost is like you barely have any Protoss cards, and then you're just looking for damage, whether it's Leroy. You could Leroy MC Tech as a combo, possibly on 10 mana at least, and all that. So yeah, a lot of burn. You're just trying to hero power a lot. You could do some insane burst damage with like Popular Pixies and Sigalon Buddies in the late game. So absolutely a deck worth trying out. And as for Wild, honestly, I'd only really recommend 3 decks in Wild right now. It is pretty rough. If you want to play like the best of the best right now, you're looking at Libram Paladin, I would say, is the best deck, where you get your Aldor Attendant and then a weapon, and basically you got -3 going. You can cheat out almost everything, and there's different versions. This one's not running Lanessa. Some versions run like the Tourist and the 4 mana card to get extra burst. This is more early game oriented, like Blessing of Wisdom adaptation, but overall, just spam 0 mana stuff, whether it's Light Rays, whether it's your Flickering Light Bot, and it's like cheats so much mana so fast, and you can lock out your opponent with like Cold Feet and Rebuke. It's really nasty. And Myrmidon can like draw your deck as well. Like, I got very sick of facing this on my Wild Legend climb, and what I used, I literally gave up. I like playing slower decks, and I just couldn't do it. I played Shadow Priest. Yes, I hate Priest, but I played Shadow Priest because it kills so fast. Like, okay, I lost, well, I'll just play another game. And the games go to like turns 3, 4, and 5 at like max. And yeah, you really want to hit, of course, Void Touch to Tenant on 1 is often just GG. Getting those, you know, brigands out, those pirates, and just bursting your opponent out. And Chilled Vol'jin, I will say, won me multiple games against Big Shaman. They cheat out a giant minion, and then I turn my 1/1 pirate into their Neptulon and absolutely murder them. So yeah, certainly one of the best decks in the Wild format. And the other one, I'll just say, Big Shaman, you don't have to think at all while play this. Just go for Fairy Tale Forest, get a Muck Morpher, or get Ancestor's Call, and cheat out a giant minion. And that's literally all you do. Hope you win. You probably will if you hit it. If you don't, you probably lose. Try again. Go from there. There's really not much strategy with this. You also have Gavel to cheat out Muck Morpher, but other than that, pretty brain dead. but very, very effective. Two other decks I saw that I won't recommend nearly as much in Wild. Pirate DH seems to be making a bit of a comeback. Win rate's pretty good. I guess it's can fight with some of these other aggro decks. So yeah, you got Pirates, you got Glaive, apparently a Glide. Again, I wouldn't highly recommend this, but if you got the cards you want to play Pirate Demon Hunter, maybe give it a shot. The stats were not too bad. And then Hook Tusk, another pirate deck for Rogue, where you just spam a bunch of pirates and then you could steal like your opponent's deck or their board or their hand and do it over and over with like bounce effects, or you know, just shuffle it, I believe, with like Scheme, shuffle it even more. The win rate's positive at Legend at least, so something if you want to give some Hook Tusk a go, this list seems to at least have a positive win rate. So that's probably our last deck update video. So we have like that mass balance patch, or like for the early access brawl. So probably a few weeks until our next one. And well, we'll have plenty of cards to review and things like that in the meantime. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.